The special town meeting will come to order. To either of the constables of the town of Raynham and the county of Bristol, greeting. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are hereby directed to notify and warn the inhabitants of said town qualified to vote in elections and in town affairs to meet at the Middle School's Joseph A. Betancourt Auditorium in said Raynham on the 14th day of November at 7 o'clock in the evening. Then and there to act on the following articles, and there are 23. And you are directed to serve this warrant by posting up attested copies thereof at the 6 places directed by vote of the town in said town 14 days before the time of holding said meeting. Hereof fail not and make due return of this warrant with your doings thereon to the town clerk at the time and place of meeting as aforesaid, given under our hands this 18th day of October in the year of our Lord 2016, and the warrant is signed by Joseph R. Pacheco, Karen Roberts, and Marie A. Smith, Selectmen of Raynham. Pursuant to the within warrant, I have notified and warned the inhabitants of the town of Raynham by posting up attested copies of the same at the 7 places directed by vote of the town, 14 days before the date of the meeting, as within directed, and the warrant is signed by James Donovan, Constable of Raynham. I would ask you all to please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that. Good evening, folks. My name is John Donahue. I am your town moderator. I'm joined up front here on the stage by a number of town officials, elected and appointed, and working from, I guess, your left to right. We have our Board of Selectmen, Marie Smith, Karen Roberts, and the Chair, Joe Pacheco, Town Council, Ted Pietnick, Town Clerk, Marcia Sylvia, Chair of our Capital Planning Committee, Brendan Loftus, Chair of our Finance Committee, Gil Aligi, members of the Finance Committee, Maria Gomes and Ted Sargent. Did anybody else sneak in after? No? I get everybody? I got everybody. Perfect. We are also joined tonight by a number of town officials, department heads. They are sitting down here in the front. I would ask for, without objection, unanimous consent that in the event that any of these fine folks need to speak and address the meeting tonight, that we allow them. Do I hear any objection to that? Thank you for that. So this is our special town meeting. This is the annual, what's commonly referred to as the capital planning meeting. This is the time of the year when more or less the books are of the town, the financial condition of town, are very well known, and we're able to spend funds, if they're available, for purchase of capital items. If you think back, going back, I guess, over 15 years now, we used to do everything at the annual town meeting in May, and we've kind of hope and pray that the financial condition of the town, when free cash was certified in the fall, that everything would line up. This has made the process, I believe, being witness to it for that time, a much more workable process for both the financial team in town as well as the department heads. And I will say that over the years, this process has become extremely efficient. I think I wouldn't hear any objection to the fact that it's a worthwhile endeavor to come here in the fall, meet in the fall, and take care of our capital items and our capital needs. And you'll see through the course of this warrant, even though there are a couple of non-capital items, there is some housekeeping to do as well at the end of the year. We are well into fiscal year 2017. There are some bills that will need to be paid. You'll see a bill that needs to be paid from fiscal year 2016. You'll also see some settlements of contracts that need to be funded, and I believe we have at least one general bylaw change and a couple of procedural updates and changes to policies that the town operates under. Very few ground rules. Raynham has always prided itself on decorum at town meetings since I've been moderator for, I guess, 5 or 6 years now. We've never had any issues with it getting any less than congenial, so I don't expect that to be the difference tonight. But I always have to say that because I know the night that I don't say it, we're going to have some sort of dust up. So very few ground rules, and they are this. If you would like to address the meeting, please, there's 2 microphones, 1 in each aisle. Step up front and state your name and address for the record. If you can't make it to the microphone, just get my attention, just give a yell, and I'll wait for you. I will glance up after every article is read and motioned, and just to make sure. Raise your hand. If you can't get up to the microphone, we'll get a microphone to you. If you are going to address an article or have a question about the article, all that we ask is that your comments remain germane to the article at hand. Let's not stray from why we're here. We're here to do the business of the town, and then we have to stay within the strict confines of the articles as they're presented to the town meeting. Direct all comments through me. Please, we ask folks not to address each other. That's how things deteriorate, if and when they do deteriorate. If we maintain that decorum of the parliamentary procedure, things tend to go a bit smoother. But again, this is my 5th or 6th year, and knock on wood, we haven't had any issues. In the event of a roll call, which I don't foresee, but you never know, I would ask you were all presented on your way in with a pink card. If we go to a roll call vote, I would just ask you to take a seat and remain in your seat until the vote is completed. You vote by holding up your pink card. I'll announce the yeas and the nays. When I announce the yeas, hold it up. I'll come down, I'll count, I'll click. I'll come back, tabulate it. I'll go out again for the nays. Hold your card up for the nays. And that's pretty much it. Oh, cell phones in silent mode, if you would. That would be very much appreciated. Before I'm going to kick it to the chair of the Capital Planning Committee and Finance Committee for just a brief update on the financial condition of the town, I had a discussion on the way as she was making her way to the stage tonight with our town clerk, and just some interesting facts about this past election. About 70% of us voted, of registered voters, and that's about as high as you're going to get. There have been a couple. I think, Madam Clerk, you mentioned that there was maybe 1 or 2 that touched closer to 80%. 7,700 roughly voters in town. Here's the amazing number. How many people voted early? Anybody here vote early? That's about right. About 3,000 of you voted early. That's an amazing number, and I think that's a testament to the operation of the town clerk and the poll workers. So I voted early, and I know that it was extremely efficient, but I do recognize, how many days of early voting were there, Marcia? 2 weeks, 2 full weeks, including Saturdays. So that's a lot of, we're asking a lot of our poll workers to show up and to take care of that, and we're asking a lot of the town clerk's office to keep that orderly. So how about a hand of applause for Marcia? And I know she'll take that back to the town clerk's office. It is. Yep. You're welcome. Thank you. With that, I'll kick it to Mr. Loftus.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Quick few words for the great town of Raynham and its citizens. We're moving around approximately $2.4 million tonight from various locales. The fiscal condition of the town, in my opinion and the capital's opinion, is currently good, steady as she goes. I hope that all the articles we have recommended here tonight, the townspeople will feel good about it and vote in the affirmative. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the Finance Chairman, Mr. Gillileggy.
Thank you, Brendan. Just to give you an awareness of where some of the funds are coming from that we'll be spending tonight on some of the capital items. We had about $1.2 million of certified free cash that we can apply. We also have $190,000 from the assessor's overlay account. There are a couple of specialized articles that will draw upon the ambulance receipts account and the sewer enterprise fund. And then, as John had mentioned earlier, there are some business housekeeping items to take care of, and that'll be raise and appropriate of a little less than $150,000. The Finance Committee has reviewed and approved or recommended all of the capital items in the warrant tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. For the town meeting, just for your information, of the 23 articles here tonight, 21 of them are simple majority. Article 4, in order to pass, will need a 9/10 majority, as that is a prior year bill. And Article 23 will need a 2/3 majority, as that it is a change to the general bylaws. So, with that as the backdrop, before we get going, does anybody have any questions or concerns? Very good. Off we go. Article 1, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of, to be filled in, to fund the fiscal year 2017 contract settlement with the Patrolmen's Union or take any action relative thereto.
Motion to accept.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 1. Discussion on Article 1.
Mr. Moderator, motion to amend Article 1 by inserting the amount $97,453.
I have a motion and a second to amend Article 1 by inserting the sum where you see the blank line, $97,453. Discussion on the motion to amend Article 1. Seeing none, all those in favor of amending Article 1, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 1 is amended.
Motion to accept as amended.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 1 as amended. Discussion on the motion to accept Article 1 as amended. Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 1 as amended, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 1 passes as amended. Article 2, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $7,315 to fund fiscal year 2017 contract settlement with OPEIU or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 2. Discussion on Article 2. Clearly states in the warrant, you can see how the $7,315 are being allocated. Seeing no interest in discussing Article 2, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 2 passes. Article 3, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 to be added to the Workmen's Compensation Expenses account or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 3. Discussion on Article 3. Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 3, please say aye. Opposed, no. We're losing our energy way too early, folks. 1, we came out of the box with a little bit of enthusiasm. We're only on 3. Article 4, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $15,412 for prior year bills or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 4. Discussion on Article 4. I'll remind folks that this is a 9/10 to pass. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of Article 4, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 4 passes unanimously. Thank you for that. Article 5, to see if the town will vote to transfer the sum of $315,698 as detailed below from the ambulance receipts account to operate the ambulance service for the second half of fiscal year 2017. Any monies not used to be returned to the ambulance receipts account or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 5. Discussion on Article 5. And again, you can see the breakdown of the expenditures in the warrant. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 5, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 5 passes. Article 6, to see if the town will transfer from free cash the sum of $600,000 to the general stabilization account or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 6. Discussion on Article 6. I have a question as resident taxpayer, not as moderator. Mr. Legee, can we possibly get the current balance of the stabilization account and perhaps after that, maybe if you could speak for the Finance Committee, your intentions moving forward with regards to the balance, and at what point are you satisfied, maybe even for the Board of Selectmen as well, what point are you satisfied that the stabilization account is fully funded?
Okay. The balance after a transfer of $600,000 will be $2.7 million. That's approximately 7% of the general fund budget. And I would think that we do not want to exceed 10%, so we can keep an eye on this moving forward. We should be at least 5% and less than 10%. So I think we're in a very good position right now at about 7%.
So to get to 10, roughly, in my head, sounds like about another 1.2 million. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I only ask as a taxpayer. That's the only reason. Further discussion on Article 6. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 6, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 6 passes. Article 7, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $12,000 to replace 32 gear lockers or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 7. Discussion on Article 7. I believe I saw that. There's the chief in case anybody has any direct questions on this. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 7, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 7 passes. Article 8, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $9,000 and from the ambulance receipts account an additional $9,000 for a total of $18,000 for new computers for priority response vehicles for the new centralized dispatching system or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 8. Discussion on Article 8. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 8, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 8 passes. Article 9, to see if the town will vote to transfer from the ambulance receipts account the sum of $350,000 for the purchase of a new Class 1 ambulance. Any monies not used to be returned to the ambulance receipts account or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 9. In the note in the warrant, it does mention that an older ambulance will be traded in. Discussion on Article 9. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 9 passes. Article 10, to see if the town will vote to transfer from the sewer enterprise retained earnings account the sum of $76,000 to eliminate the existing overhead electrical service and install a new underground electric service at the Route 44 pump station or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 10. Discussion on Article 10. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 10, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 10 passes. Article 11, to see if the town will vote to transfer from the sewer enterprise retained earnings account the sum of $116,785 for the installation of new wastewater pump control panels at the South Street East pump station and the Deer Hollow pump station or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 11. Discussion on Article 11. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 11, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 11 passes. Article 12, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $15,000 for the initial costs associated with the treatment of Johnson's Pond to remove unwanted invasive plant growth or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 12. Discussion on Article 12. Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 12, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 12 passes. Article 13, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $23,000 for the purpose of reconstructing the Pleasant Street basketball courts and take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 13. Discussion on Article 13. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 13, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 13 passes. Article 14, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $17,000 for a new computer server to run the town's financial software or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 14. Discussion on Article 14. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 14, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 14 passes. Article 15, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $163,600 for 3 patrol vehicles or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 15. Discussion on Article 15. Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 15 passes. Article 16, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $21,000 for the purchase of the L-Scan 1000PX fingerprints system, replacing the current LiveScan fingerprint system, or taking the action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 16. Discussion on Article 16. Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 16, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 16 passes. Bear with me 1 second, folks. Dropped out relatives, Randy. How'd that happen? You see what I see? Yeah. This doesn't affect the sanctity of the article, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Article 17, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $30,000 for the purchase and installation of 3 low-ambient ductless air conditioning systems for the patrol office, detective's office, and chief's office and conference room, or taking the action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 17. Discussion on Article 17. Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 17 passes. I'm not sure if anybody noticed, but starting on, looks like Article 10 through 17, we dropped a word. It's housekeeping, and it doesn't affect the, in my opinion, Counselor, I guess I'll look to you as well. It's wordsmithing is really what it is, but the last phrase of every article says, or take any action relative thereto, which gives the town meeting a little bit of wiggle room on whether or not we want to, move within the 4 corners of the article, but it gives us room to take action that may not be explicitly lined out or outlined in the actual article. For some reason, between Articles 10 and 17, we dropped the word relative. Again, I don't think, and I think Town Council agrees with me, doesn't affect the sanctity of the articles or the ability of the articles to convey the business that we're doing, but I'm not sure how I missed that, but I did. So I guess that one's on me. Won't happen again. Article 18, to see if the town will vote to raise, appropriate, or transfer the sum of $239,000 for the purchase of 1 new 72,000-pound GVWR 10-wheel dump truck with diesel engine equipment equipped with emergency lighting package, power angle plow, and salt spreader, or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 18. Discussion on Article 18.
Motion to amend by replacing raise, appropriate, or transfer with transfer from free cash.
Got a motion and a second to amend Article 18 by replacing the words raise, appropriate, or transfer with the words transfer from free cash. Discussion on the motion to amend Article 18. Seeing none. All in favor of Mr. Wheeler?
Mr. Moderator, please explain the necessity of taking the $239,000 from raise and appropriate. I understand that we certainly have no problem with raising and appropriating it to the new business who came in at a much higher number than was anticipated in May. So why would we use free cash? I personally would object to that, even though we're going to have close to 800 or 900,000 after the warrant tonight in free cash, but I would assume that free cash would be lowering the tax rate in the coming year.
Right. So, Mr. Wheeler's question, for those that couldn't hear it, maybe up in the back, is why is the town proposing to pay for this dump truck out of free cash as opposed to the way that the article was originally written, which was to raise and appropriate? And I would defer to Finance Committee. Selectmen? Mr. Buckner?
Is it working?
It is now, yeah.
Okay. Actually, Dwayne, we don't have enough in. Say what?
Maybe just lean a little closer, Randy.
Actually, Dwayne,
There you go.
we don't have enough money in the raise and appropriate. In fact, we do have enough in free cash. In this article, this was actually always meant to come out of free cash. The words raise, appropriate, or transfer are sort of a generalization, and they need to be specific on where the money is coming from. So we have the free cash. We don't have the money to raise and appropriate.
Mr. Moderator, I understand that. That's a pretty easy decision.
Thank you,
If we
sir.
don't have it,
If we don't have it, we can't spend it.
we do come in free cash.
Yes. So I believe the motion that's on the floor is to amend Article 18. Further discussion on the motion to amend Article 18? Seeing none, all those in favor of amending Article 18 to replace the words raise, appropriate, or transfer with the words transfer from free cash, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 18 is amended. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 18 as amended. Discussion on Article 18 as amended. Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 18 as amended, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 18 passes as amended. Article 19, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $100,000 to the stabilization fund established in fiscal year 2016 for the construction and replacement of the highway facility salt storage shed and other related site improvements, or take any action relative thereto. The motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 19. Discussion on Article 19. Mr. Wheeler.
Mr. Moderator, I feel like a skunk at the lawn party, but I have a question. What will be the final cost of this storage shed? I mean, it seems to me a year ago we appropriated 100. We're building another stabilization for another 100. What is the cost of this shed?
So I, for one, appreciate your questions because I get to take a sip of water. So this is good, Dwayne. I appreciate it. I would defer to Mr. Pacheco.
It's $300,000, Dwayne. We committed to $100,000 a year over 3 years to fund the project. So this would be year 2 of 3.
So we'll finish it next year?
Correct. That's the plan.
The shed will last another year, I hope?
We expect that to be the case. Ed's shaking his head yes.
Well, any further questions on Article 19? Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 19, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 19 passes, and we'll cross our fingers, Dwayne, for one more year from the old shed. You probably just jinxed us, you realize that, right? This thing's coming down this winter. Where's Mr. Buckley? Article 20, to see if the town will vote to transfer from overlay surplus a sum of $190,000 for the purchase of one new roll-off truck or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 20. Discussion on Article 20. Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 20, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 20 passes. Article 21, to see if the town will vote to charge an additional fee of $15 for each written demand issued by the collector to be added to and collected as part of the tax, as authorized by Mass General Laws, Chapter 60, Section 15, effective as of January 1st, 2017, or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 21. Discussion on Article 21. Mr. King, appreciate your description of this article last Tuesday night. I would assume that's why you rise again?
Yes, Michael King, Town Treasurer, Tax Collector. For those that weren't at the pre-town meeting, I just want to give some background as to what a demand is. A demand is a late penalty that is assessed approximately 2 weeks after the tax is due.
Very good. Thank you for that. Any questions on Article 21? Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 21, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 21 passes. Article 22, to see if the town will vote to accept provisions of Mass General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 5G, to establish a municipal waterways improvement and maintenance fund or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 22, and I see a note in the warrant, money received from the boat excise tax, which it appears about $3,000 per year, is automatically credited to this fund. Discussion on Article 22. Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 22, please say aye. Opposed, no. Article 22 passes. And last but not least, Article 23. Article 23, to see if the town will vote to amend Section 2/18 of the Town of Raynham General Bylaws relating to the non-payment of taxes by deleting the strike-through language and substituting the bolded language, or take any action relative thereto. Motion has been made and seconded to accept Article 23. Discussion on Article 23. Folks, I'm not going to read the entire proposed changes to the bylaws, to the bylaw. Treasurer Collector King is here if anybody has any direct questions, or maybe you prefer to do what you did last week, Michael, or real briefly? Because this has been dragging on for so long. I know people want to get home.
So just to fill in everybody on the background, which we talked about at the pre-town meeting, we're updating an existing town bylaw. The legislature passed what is known as the Municipal Modernization Act. It made some changes to the Massachusetts general law of which the bylaw is based. In order to take advantage of those changes, we now need to amend the town bylaw. The town bylaw in general is a tool used by the collector in collecting late taxes and delinquent taxes. And this in particular will force those who are delinquent in their taxes to pay up if they want to take out a permit or license within the town. This applies to all departments, but does not apply to certain licenses such as marriage licenses, dog licenses, the more mundane ones.
Thank you for that. Further questions in Article 23? Again, I would caution the town meeting, we need a 2/3 vote for this to pass. Seeing none, all in favor of Article 23, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Article 23 passes unanimously. Motion has been made and seconded to dissolve the special town meeting. Discussion on the motion to dissolve. Seeing none, all those in favor of dissolving the special town meeting, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Special town meeting is dissolved. No further business to be conducted. Thank you, folks, for coming out. We'll see you again in May.